You're recruiting right now?
I am.
Oh.
And the other day,
Not the R word.
I got the worst rejection email I could ever possibly get. And I won't read the whole thing.
Recruiting for a job, by the way.
Yeah, recruiting for a job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not a frat.
Because we're all broke.
I won't read very much of it. Ready? Hi, Robert.
No!
Oh.
Thank you for your interest.
Wait, what was
That's it,
your
that's all I got.
reaction?
Well,
You're like, first of all, not Robert.
dude, yeah, I
of
sent an
all.
email. I was like, was this meant for someone else? Did I make it through the round? Did I make it to the final round? Or was this meant for me? Yeah, it was meant for me.
Wait, did you respond?
It was meant for
She responded.
Hi, Robert.
She was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry you had to see that. And I
That's
was-
actually really bad, like, for the company.
No, that's
Yeah.
so
Yeah, that's
bad.
bad.
Yeah.
especially
Let's say the company. I'm kidding. If that happened to me, that would have been a slap in the face, actually. I was gonna make a joke, but then I can't.
I would have been
know.
depressed too.
I would have been sad.
Yeah, I was sad. Sad, bro.
It's
I
okay.
didn't say he was depressed.
I thought it was insinuated.
Before we do our we shall, I'm doing my we shall with a new water bottle, guys.
Pretty nice.
Pretty fucking nice. Mylin and Rebecca got me a Hybe water bottle
Woo.
with my man on it.
Hey,
Shit.
show off your socks, too.
Oh my god, it matches.
Double homicide. I'm your host, Clarence Angelo. I am Filipino, and this week I will be entering a battle. The battle being that I will be trying to get BTS Las Vegas tickets. So as much as Army's like, we are here for each other, every man for themselves this week, I will be giving it my all.
How many
He's fair.
devices are you gonna
He's fair.
use to get them?
Anything. Apple Watch, iPad,
Apple Watch.
hold up, Game Boy, DS.
I'm Rebecca. I'm Chinese, and this week, Mylin and I and our roommates got a cat named Taro.
I'm allergic to cats, and it makes me sad. But then I realized Jimin's allergic to cats too.
Hi, I'm Thomas. In this past week, I flooded my apartment. I
Damn,
did
how'd it happen?
laundry too hard.
Oh, wait! I flooded my apartment too. I didn't know there was
Dishwasher.
a difference between dishwashing soap and dishwasher soap.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, there is.
Big mistake.
Big
Huge.
mistake.
Yeah, shit came out, and I was like, "Is that milk?"
My name's Mylin. I'm Vietnamese, and I can't tell a fart from a shart.
So you either have never sharted before, or you only shart.
Wait, I've never sharted in my I
What
don't
do
know.
you mean? What do you mean? In your
Wait,
pants?
you've never shit your pants?
No, never. Unless I was like.
Oh, I can
baby.
count on almost a full hand how many times I've shit my pants.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yep. So, shall
Tumblr.
we?
We shall.
I thought you were doing something on my iPad.
Welcome back to Asian Glow, guys. Asian Glow Podcast, Season 2. Season 2. Season
Do it.
Dos. Season Dalawa.
What
Season
language is that?
Hi. That's Vietnamese.
Mine was Tagalog. Season
R.
Season
2. No Asian.
Two.
2. Oh, I realized that in the first episode, big fat juicy ass mistake. We forgot to explain what Asian Glow is.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking to my friends. Okay, so we go to college in Indiana. And I was talking to them, and we obviously have a few viewers in Indiana. And then they were like, wait, bro, Asian Glow Podcast, I love it. But then I was like, do you even know what Asian Glow is? And they're like, no, I just thought it was the name of your shit. Why did I think it was like a normal thing?
Yeah, I thought everyone knew.
So I think we should explain it.
Asian glow is a phenomenon among Asians. When they drink,
What happens when they drink?
they turn red.
Yeah, therefore, Asian Glow. Who gets the worst Asian Glow?
I'm looking right at her.
I don't know what you're talking about. I lack an enzyme.
That's
what
what it
happened.
is.
Yeah.
Graceland from the first season, she said that Asians have Asian Glow, but so do certain Jews.
That's what we heard.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not like an only Asian.
So it's
thing.
like, hey, what's good?
Hey.
What's
now.
good with you?
What's good? The syndromes that you have, like you have only child syndrome. versus like
Oh,
us
yeah.
will have youngest child syndrome, and there's like
Oh,
middle
so like what syndrome do we have?
Yeah, with syndrome. And
Wait,
do
what made you think about this question?
Oh, I really wanted like my my beef tendon downstairs in the fridge. I woke up and I was like, I want beef tendon, and then I went walk, and I got beef tendon, and I was like, wow, nothing feels better than instant gratification.
Yeah.
And I
For real.
recognized that because I'm a youngest child, and that's like my favorite feeling is instant gratification.
I remember we talked about this.
I can relate because I'm also a youngest child. I feel like I'm just not patient, bro.
Wait, do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have a sister, but like I didn't really grow up with her because we're 8 years apart.
Okay.
So, hence, I would consider myself to be raised as an only child, technically.
I read this article. It's 15 dead giveaways you're dealing with an only child. And I was like trying to be like, okay, let's debunk it. Let's ego aside. Let's see what actually is right. The good thing about me being an only child, I'm an only child. Red flag. Oh, red flag. Usually an only child is always spoiled. But then, since I was poor when I was a kid, shit wasn't that easy when I was poor, right? I wasn't spoiled, not because my mom didn't want to spoil me. It's because we just didn't have the funds, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that I read on this, only children are like overachievers. Let's say when I achieved something during my childhood, I would get all the attention from my mom, right? Then when I achieve something, I want to get that same like 100% attention from the world, which is like totally irrational.
That makes sense. Like you're always chasing the
Yeah.
thrill of
Chasing
the
the high.
attention.
There's a podcast that I listened to. She was going through it, and she has both her mom and her dad. So she's like, oh, so like I wanted the attention just like my mom and dad gave me. She was like, that's why I feel like a lot of times I don't like anytime I achieve something, I don't really think about it too much because it's not as much as my mom and dad gave me when I was a kid.
That's kind of that's poetic.
Oh, so you just like kind of like push it to the side. You're just like, oh, it's not good enough. The youngest children usually like the fun, less like.
Yeah, we're fun.
Yeah, we're the fun one.
Yeah.
But if you could have a sibling, or I guess if you could have another one,
Yeah.
Who's
I
closer in
wish I
age.
had a younger sister. Like I would
You'd be a good older
love
brother.
to have a younger, because all my little girl cousins, oh my god, like I love them with all my heart. I would tell her if she looks good in an outfit. I would also tell her if a guy was being toxic. Like I would fucking love that.
Yeah.
No.
Honestly.
I want a younger brother solely because I feel like guys with older sisters like treat women so
That's
well.
true.
That's so true.
So I was like thinking about it. I was like, what types of meals I usually like cook for myself or like my go-to meals? It's always fried rice. Literally like
Oh, like
Oh, like,
depression
what's our
meals. Mine are tacos. It's because I'm from Texas, baby girl. I'm a Texas boy. I'm Kevin Wynn. I'm from Dallas, Texas.
yo, what kind of tacos you cook up?
One's for my baby girl. No,
Anything
Whatever
she
my
wants.
woman likes.
whatever gets her fed. Yeah. No, yeah, I would say tacos.
Okay. This one time I had like no food at home, so what I ate was leftover rice and then I put peanut butter on top.
I love a good depression meal, though. They're so fucking hilarious. Sometimes I'm like, this is filling me up with happiness because it's so sad.
Yeah.
It's so
Sometimes I
sad.
just do a bowl of rice and then laoganma and like sriracha. TBH.
Really,
Dang.
just that with a sauce.
If I got nothing, bro. If I got nothing,
Yo.
if I open my fridge and it's
God.
straight up nothing.
Remember how I told you guys I was poor? I went to a ghetto-ass elementary school. Ghetto-ass elementary school. And my after-school daycare, obviously our snacks would be like goldfish, like blah, blah, blah. But on like the good days, it would be like rice and butter.
In freshman year, when I like didn't have any like groceries, I was kind of like Rebecca, but I got like I had no bread, but I had peanut butter and jelly. So I just put peanut butter and jelly in a bowl, and then I ate it with a spoon.
Wait, just like
Whoa.
the condiments? Just condiments?
Yeah, it's just like butter and jelly.
No carbs.
No carbs. Just nuts.
You cut your carbs.
And I cut my carbs completely.
You got the vitamin C, the jam, and then you got the protein.
And you got the
Protein.
depression.
Hey.
I've noticed that in the last couple of years, when I ask people for questions about being Asian, a lot of times they bring up shit that's like, what is some toxic shit about your own race? Anytime I would bring up shit with my college friends, high school friends, I would say like, dude, Filipino gossip is the fucking worst. Like, you have no idea, like, blah, blah. And then almost every single time, the response is like, with my other Asian friends, let's say one of them is Korean. they would be like, dude, no, Korean gossip's the fucking worst. My friend would be like, no, Indian gossip's the fucking worst. I think it's really interesting that for every Asian, could apply to almost every race, everyone thinks their gossip is the fucking worst.
I feel like it depends on like the community you're in.
Yeah.
Like if you have like a really small, tight-knit community, then yeah, I think like gossip is going to be really bad because everyone knows everyone, you know?
Yeah.
I have a really big family.
Okay.
So like there's like within family gossip, but in the end,
Okay.
like Vietnamese people love family, so like we're all
Yeah,
family, you know.
that is true.
But we do have a lot of gossip in our family.
Yeah.
Like we have like little gossip circles, of course. I wouldn't say like it's anything like terrible. I would say just like
Okay.
a funny thing that happens.
I think it's funny that you said Vietnamese people love family because there's literally like in my neighborhood, there's this one cul-de-sac that's just one family and they broke down the fences in between all of them.
That's
Wait.
like so many of my family members' dreams.
When it comes to my own race, there was a time in my life where I was in a club that was like solely Filipino, right? It was like celebrating being Filipino. And I loved it because like I came from a background where there was one Filipino family like 2 neighborhoods away, right? So then I was like, fuck yeah, like let's eat as much food, like it's great. I think looking back on it, fully healed from it, but I do think that it was probably the worst experience of my life, like the worst place I've ever been in. Mentally was in that space, which fucking sucks because then my 18-year-old ass at the time, not really fully capable of understanding my own emotions, would then like turn that hate for that specific situation to the country, to the overall race.
Yeah, I was about to ask, like, does that like give you like a negative perception?
It
of,
did.
like, other
It gave me a
Filipino
negative
people?
perception on not only that group, but it gave me a negative perception on whenever my family would go to other family functions that were Filipino. I've met so many people who are like that. The quote-unquote whitewashed Filipino or whitewashed Asian did kind of take the leap to then be friends with other Asians, and then it went south. It like magnifies your whitewashedness even more because you're like, well, fuck that. Like, I took one step out of my bubble of being quote-unquote whitewashed, and it went south. And so it goes to fucking shit. Like your internalized racism goes to shit. Kind of affects your own confidence too, because if you hate the race and you are the race, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost inseparable. But I want to say, like, after all this is over, it's important that every person in your own race that goes through this kind of shit, you have to separate whatever your situation was with the overall purpose of like promoting your own race. It's not that important for you to like be so outwardly like, I'm so Filipino, I'm so Vietnamese that I need to be in this club to tell everyone that I'm not internally racist. That's not the fucking point. My friends say they encounter drama in Korean Christian church all the time. I was like, but that's Korean Christian church. Like, that's your Korean Christian church in the south of LA.
Yeah.
It's not the Koreans everywhere, you
Yeah.
know?
I feel like there's like not many Asians like the conglomerate, right? Like if you're in Texas, like a conglomerate with other Asians, like there's Vietnamese communities, the Korean communities. If like a white person went to another like white group, then they'd just be like, oh, I can just go to this other group, you know? That's another white one. But when there's only one Asian community and then there's drama within that community, there's nowhere else to turn to because there's only one community.
In more white communities, whenever you see other Asian people, what is your thought? Do you come up with a wall a little bit, or do you come up more with like a sense of love?
I mean, like back in California, like it's very common obviously to see like an Asian person. It's just normal, you know. But then like when you come here, it's like all of a sudden like you definitely feel like a minority. I was on the bus and then like there's like these 2 Asian American like people that were like sitting behind me. Man, like I really badly want to like talk to them, and like I think I like opened my arms more to like Asian people here.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, like, I came in, like, fully expecting myself to have Asian friends. Yeah.
I didn't.
See, I
Really?
didn't either.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. Well, when I came to Indiana, I thought I was going to have like white friends because it was Indiana. Most of my friends in high school were Asian, but then coming to Indiana, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to learn how to assimilate with white people. So
Yeah.
then I was like, oh, this is going to be like a learning curve because I'm not going to be in a diverse environment.
Right.
A lot of people always ask, if you knew that going in, why did you do it?
I wanted to prepare myself for the real world because I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to learn how to cope with this.
I'm gonna
Deal with this. Deal with this bullshit.
No, but it's like reflective of the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, this is gonna be the stepping stone so that I'm not uncomfortable when I'm like an adult and I have to deal with that kind of thing. So I feel like one thing that is toxic being like too Asian versus also being too whitewashed. Like you have to find a happy balance or else you're looked down upon by every other Asian person. And I found myself doing that too, especially in like college or like in high school. Like, oh, that girl's whitewashed. Oh, that girl's like likes anime too much. The only reason I thought anime was weird or like thought liking Korean dramas was weird was because it's too Asian. But then also on the flip side of it, when I was like joining a sorority or when I was like doing like things to like assimilate, it's just like a way of coping in the environment that you're in.
Yeah, that's really interesting to think about because, like, yeah, I felt like I experienced that a lot too. Like, I watch K-dramas and I like listen to like Korean music, and so like when people ask me like what type of music I listen to, like I had to like hesitate and like think about what I was gonna say. Like, did you relate to that?
I totally know what you're talking about. Some of my podcast episodes are alone. Someone asked when I was doing these episodes, like, oh, I'm a college student. I'm a freshman. This was last semester, so it was her first semester in college. Don't have any friends. It's been 3 months. I need fucking help. All the white girls look like this. All the Asian girls are what you would call ABGs, Asian baby girls. If you don't know what it is, look it up. But basically, it's a type of Asian girl. So I remember I asked Mylinh because I was like, dude, I'm not a girl. I don't know how this goes. There's no such thing as an Asian baby boy, really. I remember I was like, honestly, like, it's okay to have friends who aren't Asian in college, like, blah, blah, blah. But then I was like, is that a good answer? I mean, Lynn, she mentioned, dude, you have to realize these ABGs, like, they're not all just classified under one umbrella. Like, they could be really great people, and they're just trying to cope with whatever they're given. Yeah. I was like, oh, shit. Even I was like, yeah, they're probably fucking bitches. Like,
those ABGs.
You know?
Obviously, like, I'm half white, half Asian. So, like, it's kind of different. Like, I can't... Sometimes when I was, like, growing up, I felt like I didn't have the right to, like, be, like, super Asian. Mm. It's like, oh, am I, like, really, like, Asian enough to, like, watch K-dramas or, like, listen to, like, 88 Rising?
Okay, so he had the Wasian side.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So it's like, I had the Wasian dilemma.
Do you think you, like, found a balance since then?
I think I did, but I mean, like, a lot of shitty moments. I mean, even, like, freshman year when we were, like, hanging out with, like, this random person, we only, like, hung out with him once, but then he was, like, oh yeah, like everyone here like speaks Chinese except for Thomas, and then he was like, obviously, and I was like, okay, well, come on. I mean, like, yeah, you're right,
sucks.
but like,
yeah.
See, my brain's like, yeah, your white side deserves it, but then I'm like, oh fuck, never mind. That's like the toxic shit that we're talking about. One of my cousins, newborn baby, she came out lighter. Just like how it just happened to be. She didn't cheat. She just came out lighter. First comments were like, oh, she's so pretty. Second comments would be like, oh, enroll her in pageantry.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Because they're in the Philippines. They're in the Philippines, right?
Oh, my
And
God.
they take pageantry just as serious as we take football. I was like, is that really your first fucking comment? I was like, what about the congratulations? What about the, wow, that must have hurt your pussy? Like where's the good positive shit? I was like, God damn it.
I always have like an identity crisis because a lot of like comments are like, oh, like you look like a fob, which isn't necessarily bad, but then it like makes me like reflect.
The word fob is so negative.
No, yeah, there's such a negative connotation with fob, and so when people say that, I'm like, am I doing something wrong or like that's like different from the rest of my friends? So I don't know, I just always have this like identity crisis.
Normalize you look like a fob being a compliment.
Yes.
And those bitches aren't fob, they're fucking fresh off the PJ. Private
jet. If you're an international student, you can afford to go to a U.S. school. That means you're fucking loaded. You're loaded, bro.
What is Fapaja?
Fresh off the private jet.
Oh,
Fapaja.
We've just defined it.
Wait, is it okay to talk about this? I don't know if it's okay to talk about it, but like the like divide between Asian people from Asia versus Asian Americans, like how like Asian people from Asia
fucking
don't like Asian
the
Americans.
shit that put that into perspective for me was Crazy Rich Asians, the movie.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like they'd be like, oh, that's such an American ideal.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, sorry, I grew up in America, but they also hate me there. They hate me in both places. Where do we belong?
Please.
finding it so hard to like be friends with like some international kids. Like we were friends with like this girl Crystal. She was like from like China. For example, when we went to go watch a movie, we were like, oh, let's all go watch Crazy Rich Asians because it just came out. And then her and like her other like international friend were like, oh, we're gonna watch the new Mission Impossible. And I'm like, oh, right, because they really like idolize like American, like traditional American cultures, and we like idolize like
anything that we're given.
Yeah. Give me anything.
Yeah, just like, please, Crazy Rich Asians, close enough.
Yeah, I'll take it.
We watched. Did we all watch Shang Chi together? No, but we all watched it in the same general.
Yeah.
Right.
And I remember we walked out and we were so happy. I like walked out, I was like, that shit was good. Like,
No.
I was like, best Marvel movie ever. I don't give a fuck. And then Rebecca's like, I just feel so happy right now.
No, I literally was just so happy for no apparent reason. And like the movie was good and the music was good, but like other than that, like I just felt like on another level of like worldliness. Yeah.
There's like so many. I like looked at like a lot of these things, but like Shang-Chi's like sister's character was meant to have like blue streaks in her hair.
Oh.
But then that like the actor like didn't want that because
Period. Because that's what it is. That's how they
like,
fucking do it. They're like, oh, we need an Asian bitch in Fast and Furious, so let's give her neon eyelashes
Yeah.
and a fucking big ass bug eyed bitch looking eye.
Yeah.
Bug eyes.
Like the part that was like, your name is Shang, but you went by Sean.
Yeah, I remember that.
Instead of
funny.
being Gina and calling yourself Gina.
Gina.
I was like, that's something shit we would say, bro. That's
Specific Asian American humor in a movie, it's so rare to
It's
find.
so good.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's also why we have like subtle Asian traits and like all those like Asian pages on
man.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Or the subtle Asian dating. Were you guys in that?
Oh, I was in that too.
I was in that, yeah.
I put my sister up there.
Oh,
Yeah.
did it work?
Well, no, they took it down because I plugged my Instagram.
Yeah.
They took it down. She was doing numbers on it.
Oh,
Really?
For a
Very
while,
good.
yeah, she had like 700.
Welcome back from the break, everyone.
The next part of this podcast is a segment we like to call
Asians
Answer.
This part of the podcast is where we answer your questions that you sent us on Instagram, and I put these on my story every week.
R.D. asked, what are your favorite childhood snacks?
You guys know the shrimp crackers that like melt on your
Yes.
tongue?
Yes.
And then for sweet ones, Mogu Mogu. But those shits are extremely sugary. Like,
Yeah.
those should be basically illegal.
What are the ones that come in like cylinders and it's like biscuits of sticks
Yon
and
Yon.
then yes, Yon Yon.
Yon Yon.
Yeah.
Love those.
Oh, I really like
Those
the
are so
chocolate
good.
ones.
Every single day after school in like elementary and like middle school, my mom would like give me a pack of wasabi peas. So like my like spice tolerance like was so good.
Oh, she's building that up for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like, my kid ain't gonna be fucking no pussy.
Eat these peas.
In terms of like sweet, my mom would make like red bean like cakes. Like,
Oh shit, he had it good then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
We're here saying like manufacturing.
I know. I also like shrimp chips, but I loved those like shitty gum. Like you
Shitty
eat that,
gum.
Oh, that
little
came in
gum.
cubes?
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
but
yes,
they
yes,
were
yes,
all
yes.
yeah. They came in little cubes, but they're like little circles, and they lost flavor in like 3 seconds. But for those 3 seconds, oh my goodness!
This is my question. So Mylin's Viet, right? Everyone knows Mylin's Viet. Yeah, Mylin's Viet.
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw this TikTok today that was like at a nail salon. I hope this is not gonna get me canceled. Like, she's Viet, my friends are Viet, and just by proxy they own like 6 nail salons. I saw this TikTok and I thought it was so effing funny. I haven't laughed in years. And so fucking funny.
Why does she keep doing that?
Wait, I've seen
What's
this.
the problem? You see the problem. There are people around. You don't have to embarrass me.
The way it cuts off.
It's funny.
Comments, all lowercase and uppercase. I never smell such. I comment, I'm so sorry. This is so embarrassing, but I'm on team. I've never smelled so. Girl. Okay, so with this TikTok in mind, you know Viet.
Yeah,
can understand
I
it.
can't speak it.
But you can understand it. Okay. Have you ever like eavesdropped on shit they've said? Like anything bad or no?
I've definitely heard bad things. They can recognize when I come in that I'm Vietnamese.
They like holler in a different dialect.
they holler. No, they actually speak to me in Vietnamese, and then I kind of have to navigate. It gives me like anxiety to go to those places because I'm like, oh gosh. I have to,
Once again, am I white or am I
am I
Asian?
white or am I Asian? I'm like, oh god, I have to brush up on my Vietnamese. And when like a customer complains, they're like, oh, this girl is ugly.
Yeah, this girl
Or it's like
ugly.
this girl, like her nails look fine, like blah blah blah, like things like that. Nothing like never like super terrible.
Thank you. And they're like, yeah. And Vietnamese are like, you're ugly. Thank you. Your feet stink.
Mira by Kearney asks, I like my best friend. I don't know if he likes me. Help.
Ooh, the classic.
BTB. Bring that booty.
Hey, yo, bring that booty here.
Bring that booty.
Bangtan booty. That's what I think.
It's like send them like a signal that like you could like pass off as a joke, but like if like they were actually into it, then like you could like
A mating
move
call.
forward. Yeah, like a mating call.
Personally, for me, I was the wuss. If I like my best friend now too, I would be like, fuck, bro, we chilling.
Yo, we
bro.
chillin'.
We chillin'. You have to weigh your options. Like, oh, if I am friends with this person and I'm in love with them for years and years and years, that's more agonizing than like never saying it, you know?
For yourself.
But if you think it's like a fleeting feeling, you're like, oh, like maybe I like you, then honestly, I would say don't say anything. Because then maybe if it goes away, then you can keep your friendship. So you have to like kind of balance, like, oh, is my friendship worth like maybe gambling over if it's in the means of like pursuing an actual relationship?
Yeah, no, you can't be impulsive. So like you gotta like really like if it's just like a I'm gonna repeat what you're gonna say.
Rebecca repeated what Thomas said, and I used it for TikTok promo. So, other than the people who watched the videos, thousands of people.
That's what I'm known as now. No.
Sam Castaneda said, is kissing a person that isn't your partner in a dream cheating?
The thing is, I look into the meaning of dreams.
Totally depends on the person you're dreaming about. Like if it's your,
That's what I'm
if
saying.
your man, if it's your man's or your woman's best friend, that's fun.
Yeah, you got a
Yeah,
problem.
that's-
Oh yeah. That's
But
not good.
if someone said, I had a dream, bro, I had a dream like I was making out with Ariana Grande, I'll be like,
Like,
fuck you. I wish I
I
wish
had-
I had that
yeah.
dream too.
Yeah.
Just
I wouldn't
like,
break
damn.
up with someone over it, but I'd be like,
Yeah.
like,
I'll be like,
what you
damn,
got
I'm a little
going on in that
insecure
mind?
now.
Yeah.
Sorry if that didn't fucking
That does not help whatsoever.
Yeah.
Wait, I hope you're not in that situation either. Okay, so our last question is from Asian Gangster at Pia.Rucky. Now being older, do you guys brush off any type of pain because your parents didn't make it a big deal? I think what you're trying to hint at in this is Asian parents don't really think about mental pains a lot.
So my mom's Asian, and I've only seen her cry once, and that was like when my grandpa was like dying. She didn't have a very like good childhood, so I feel like her coping mechanism was to just internalize it, and like still to this day, like she'll just internalize like mental like pain. So then like growing up, I was like, yeah, I'm tough. It's different though if they're saying like, oh, as an adult, like because maybe growing up I like modeled myself after my parents a lot more, but like now I'm like my own person.
Gotcha.
And like
Yeah.
I'm like much more open to the idea of like, you know, like opening up your emotions.
I mean, my parents came to America really early. Like, they came when they were like 11 years old, so they have
Okay.
kind of half and half, like Asian ideals with like American ideals. I think something that's really common in Asian households is that like is the different love language. So like my parents have like very much like acts of service love language, which I think is a lot of Asian parents. Like, they cut fruit for their kids instead of like saying
Yeah.
outwardly like, oh, I love you, or like giving them a hug or something like that. When I was a kid, I didn't understand it as much because I mean we were raised in America, so it's less common to have acts of service as your love language. But I think as an adult, I've realized that that's the way that they show their love. And so I've been able to like kind of understand the different love languages that other people have, and kind of like recognizing that that's how they're showing love, so you can kind of receive it better.
I think my parents like were really good about like the topic of like mental health, and like they always encouraged me to like talk about my feelings, or like even now they like tell me to call them if I have any problems or if I just want to rant. So I've been pretty lucky to like have such like caring parents.
In the situation where I would ask this question, like I'm trying to see where you came from. Like I remember there were times where I would like be like, come on, bitch. Like obviously I'm fucking down right now. Just like help a brother out. Like I would be so frustrated that my mom wasn't acting like my friend's mom or something, you know? But as you grow up, I think you realize how lovable some of the traits that you hated back then of your parents were.
Yeah.
For example, with physical pain. Like anytime I would have something where I would like have like a little scratch on my face, my mom would freak the shit out. And I would be like, dude, chill. And then same thing goes if there's like any inconvenience. She would kind of freak out. And I would be like, bro, like my friend's mom doesn't freak out like this. Like what the hell? Like fucking chill. But then now I realize it's just like such an Asian parent thing to just like kind of freak out over something. So like nowadays, maybe it's like on the complete other spectrum. Like my mom's freaking out over something and I'm like, oh, that's so cute. I'm like, I feel like one day she'll see me get hit by a bus. I'll be like dead on the ground. I'm like, oh, you're freaking out. Oh, look at you having a mental breakdown. Oh. But in terms of brushing off any type of pain, when you grow up, it's less on like, oh fuck, like my parents didn't teach me how to handle my pain. It also kind of gets, as you grow up, becomes your responsibility to show them like, I'm gonna show my feelings and this is how I'm gonna cope with it. Because maybe your parents, who knows, the reason they're not fucking acting on pain and emotional pain is because they've never seen anyone do it. So like maybe it's our job, you know, as adults now to be like, dude, this is how I handle my pain and I'm actually doing better because I handle it like this. So then your parents were like, oh, that's a weird way to do it.
They're only human too, and like they
Yeah.
have a lot to learn too, like
Yeah.
coming to like this country and learning about the culture.
They have,
so.
we idolize our parents so much, which I think is so valid.
Yeah.
But like, they're fucking human.
Yeah.
That platform we put them on only lasts X amount of years, you know?
Yeah.
That's true.
Bring it in.
Bring it in. Oh. Thank you guys so much for listening. Once again, I'm Clarence Angelo, your host.
I'm Rebecca.
I'm Thomas.
I'm Mylin.
And we're going to say bye like we normally do in our respective languages. So...
San R-E.
Zaijian!
I was yours for the taking. Guess I needed a home.
Bitches out. We out.
Anyways, now that that's over, honestly, I hope she fucks her best friend, bro.
Hold his hand.
There you go.